Good morning, warrior and warrioresses of light and love. Today, I have something super amazing for you. First of all, I want to use the internet more to spread the message of love and understanding that I've spread all my life as a musician. But instead of using super highly sophisticated music, I am going to use the power of my voice to share my love, to share my passion, and to connect with the world. So, Duncan Trussell Midnight Gospel, this is what we are going to talk about right now. It's a mind blower. First, I thought it's meh, but then I thought it's one of the best things ever created. So, what is it? First of all, Duncan Trussell, who is he? I know him from Joe Rogan. This much I can say. So I know him from podcasts, and from what he says on those podcasts, I know that he's into psychedelics, Buddhism, spirituality, but he's also one of the kindest people, seemingly, as far as you can tell. And you get a quite good access online to Duncan Trussell because he's not holding back. He's opening up his heart and sharing it with the world quite efficiently. And Midnight Gospel is an animated series that is based on his podcasts. So it consists out of incredibly beautiful conversations that we have the luck to witness, basically. And it strongly reminds me on Waking Life, which has similarities but comes from a completely different time era where podcasts were not even born yet. Tom Green actually has birthed them, partially at least, the modern podcast format. But it reminds me of that. So what does that mean? Is that it's a sci-fi series that sometimes is a little bit reminiscent of Rick and Morty, but way, way more abstract and crazy and trippy. And every episode starts with the main character being on his psychedelic space farm, and then getting sucked into a different reality. And in this reality, he always meets a different guest, and those are the people from the podcast. This is the first animated TV show that I would actually maybe like to try out under the influence of entheogenic substances or plant medicine, because it's so nice, but it's also like very stimulating graphically. So I don't know, it would be an experiment, but it's so full of love, and the conversations that he has are also so full of love, and they inspired me to actually record this video, to use my voice to connect to the world in a meaningful and good way. Your voice is so powerful. It's magic. One episode actually talks about that. Another great thing about this animated series is that you can just follow it without looking, without looking at like any podcast, because it is actually mostly podcast conversations and they are then animated. What a brilliant idea. Because change the process, change the outcome. This is what they did. For whom is this? This is adult entertainment, definitely. But it is the right stuff for a growing audience interested in entheogenic substances, spirituality, and things like that, which there are many. And to be honest with you, Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, and Duncan Trussell play all a big role in the popularization of entheogenic substances and spirituality or spiritual concepts around the world. It's quite fascinating that we needed a personality like Joe Rogan to make that one happen. I remember Joe Rogan from a time when nobody knew him, and a good friend of mine, Goose, an ex-special unit, showed it to me, and he showed a stand-up set of Joe Rogan before he was quote-unquote super famous, back in the time when he was a regular comedian and TV presenter. And he talks about DMT. and the American people that are listening to his stand-up are absolutely losing their shit. But at the same time, they hear about DMT for the first time. And he just used his podcast to propel knowledge and awareness about psychedelics into the cosmos. And there is an argument to be had that probably it would be not so okay to, discuss DMT for Harvard professors, etc., or Stanford professors without Joe Rogan. That's my thesis. I don't know. I think that he played a huge fucking role in popularization. But I'm drifting off. Back to the Midnight Gospel. It's a great piece of art. It transcends the regular format of an animated TV series, and it becomes a beautiful piece of art. And I can only applaud the people who are standing behind it to go such a new road. I would be super interested in making of the Midnight Gospel, because I think what they did is they took the podcast recordings and they used it for the main dialogue. But then there are scenes where you can totally see that they recorded a little bit for that scene, or it would make sense, because it would be really funny if that just randomly appeared in the podcast. So maybe the writers, at certain points in the process said, okay, we need you to say this, and this. Please come in the VO studio, in the voiceover studio, and let's record those lines because we need that for the completion. What a beautiful day to discuss this. If you enjoyed this format, then why not leave a like, share this video, and comment what do you think. Did you maybe watch the Midnight Gospel? Are you one of the few millions that watched it? Because it's actually a Netflix production. So Midnight Gospel is out on Netflix. Pretty not complicated to watch it. Let me know in the comment section below if you had a mind blower as me. Because for me it was a process. First I was like, it's just a podcast that is animated. But the more I got into it and the more episodes I watched, I think around 1.5 hours worth of episodes, or maybe a little bit less now. And absolutely beautiful, amazing. And actually, I feel like, the first episode is a little bit weaker than, let's say, the third episode. So maybe, who knows? The process must have been wild. And such projects are fascinating because there are so many people involved. And it's all about the thoughts of this one beautiful mind, Duncan Trussell, that also happens to have a very soothing voice. Like soothing in a weird kind of way that is, it's just comforting to listen to Duncan Trussell. And I used him in my music. I sampled him before because his voice reflects love and truth. And it sounds in his voice. It's fascinating how powerful the human voice are. With that said, I think it's a beautiful point to stop the video and say goodbye to you for now. I love you. Don't forget that you are a beautiful person and that you can take over the world with love. And let's do it. Peace out.